Back at it again. Pleasant good evening to you all. Just want to welcome you again to another live stream from What's in Your Hand Woodworking. Today I'm actually going to finish up this board that I started yesterday. It's actually repairing the board because it had some voids in it. So that's what I'm doing to it today. Just want to give you a shout out and top of the evening to you guys. How was your day? Was your day lovely? Mine was a bit enjoyable, but I'm here nevertheless. And another live. Yeah. Remember the last time I told you that I did something that I didn't really recommend doing. It worked out for me the last time fine. So this time around I think I'm going to try it again, with this board. So this is actually an end grain cutting board. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run it through my thickness planer. So one way to do it is to ensure that the edges are not all that square, because if it is square the blade will catch it and it will have a kick out or tear out with the board. So what I do is I take my router and I take my router and just roll the edges. So let me just roll, yeah? Roll all the edges that will catch. Yeah. So after I do that, then I'm going to take up my monster of a planer to be used. So I just want to welcome you again to this live. So I'm going to be using now my thickness planer, which is this the what I call it monster of a planer because it weighs like about 92 pounds or 42 kilograms. That's how much it weighs. So that's what I'm going to do. Then I'm going to make some light passes. Gonna make some light pass with it through the thickness planer. To get it flat. Just some light passes. I'll bring this up. Okay. Down a little bit. Yes, just some very light pass. working there, getting it flat on this side. Right crosses. Yeah. Yeah. Some real so because this is an end grain cutting board, I cannot bring down the thickness planer too deep because the blade will catch and the board will explode. So I have to make a lot of light passes. But so far, you're seeing the result. It is actually getting everything on a smooth surface. A couple more passes on this. A couple more passes. Yeah. I can work with this now. Turn it on this side now. This didn't end. Yeah. telling you about, this type of tear out. So what I do to prevent that is so as you can see, I don't know if you were here when I just started the live, but as you can see, this is where the blade is actually catching this, and it is causing a tear out. So what I have to do now is that I have to use my rotor again, use my rotor blade, and just to break the edge. Just to break the edge like that. Then I pass it through the thickness planer again, so that will prevent the edge from getting catch. So that's pretty much it. So that's how you use a thickness planer to plane down an end grain cutting board. You have to give it some light, just some light passes. Some real light pass. So from my glue up, I think, as you can see the edges there, they had some. So I'm going to use my planer, my jointer planer now to work on the edge, and from there I'm going to go directly to the sander. So that's it for this beast of a planer. As you can see, I think on the package, on the on the planer itself, I think they show you that this requires a minimal of 2 persons to lift it. Here, let me show you guys what I'm talking about. So if you look here, right there, they show you that this is recommended that they use at least 2 persons to lift it. But I'm actually doing it by myself, so I don't know how long I'll be able to to continue to lift up this. Just want to say hi to those who are in the chat. Thanks for joining me today on this live. I welcome you to be a part of this community. You know, this is What's in Your Hand woodworking platform. It's always a privilege when I do live and you guys take time out of your busy schedule to be a part of this life, and I'm starting to see you guys as a part of this community, you know, as we seek to improve each other on a daily basis. Yeah, I'm just moving this thing out the way. Yeah, rest it here for the time being. So I'm going to come over to the jointer planer. Coming over to the jointer planer too. Yeah, coming over to this jointer planer now, where I'm going to get my edge all even up today. Yep. Then the next, from there on, it's the part of woodworking that everybody hates. That's when you have to get your sander and you just sand. Maybe you have to put in some body movements in it to make it a little bit more less of a stress. So that's where I'm off to now, after this jointer. See if I can get these edges straight. That's pretty much it. So now I'm going to go back over to table where I'm going to be initiating the final sequence of this live where I go on my sanding journey. See, you need good sander. In my dreams, I have dreamed of getting one of those in the micro 6 inches sander to use for my sanding. Because I didn't that cover more areas when you're sanding stuff. But for now, I'm using my Duals 5 inches orbit sander, and I'm going to sand it up to about 320 grit and then apply the finish. I recommend that you use respirator or a dust mask, something to keep away the dust. Then 120, and then 220. So first 80 grit sandpaper. This is 80. This is 120, and this is 220. So let's start out with the 80 grit first. Put the roll. This is 80 grit. What I normally do to ensure that I am making progress is that I use a pencil to lay out marks on the cutting on the board. So I use these marks. And these marks are polygon, it means that I would have covered all the areas that I'm sanding. So I guess a sander didn't work unless it is plugged in. Yeah. Using the pencil to mark up the board. I can have a good reference of here. And sanded already. This kind of help you to get a better understanding. So that you don't spend too much time in one area. Those marks help you to what I'm going to do is just in between all grids of the sandpaper, I'm going to ensure that I use water to prop the grid and get a smooth so that it does me together. So I need to change the speed now. 60. 80. Yeah. Pretty much a boring process, but the rest has to be done. You know, it's a very crucial part in terms of
Getting the board finished. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to use water to pop the grain. So we raise the grain. Raise the grain on the board. The grain just allow this to grow out a little bit while I talk to you guys. Huh.
Okay. Thanks for that tip, Robert. All along I've been using my sander. No, I have to save this. So you say that the sandpaper will last longer and work longer if you line the holes with the one in the sander for dust collection. Thanks. I will definitely save that. That is why I love this community so much. I've been getting so much good feedback in terms of tips, to help improve my woodworking journey. So I'm going to definitely check it out and let you know what the result is like. You know that you just never too old to learn, so you just, oh, no, I'm seeing it. So you just line up the holes, line up the holes. Ah, something like this. Now I'm getting it. Now I know why these holes are on the sandpaper. Thanks for that tip. Definitely will make sure that that's something that I do from now going forward. Ensure that definitely work on that. Thanks again, Robert, for that idea. I'll make sure I put it into practice. There we go. Some people will be the cheap. Definitely going to make sure that it's something that I promote. Yes. I'm just working on this to dry out a little bit more. Actually, so I did something that I know that one I will use a weekend to speed up the process. Speed up the process to make this dry a little bit faster. I'm getting good though, really much really. And the beauty about it is that because I would have run this through my thickness planer, there is not a lot of high spots. So it's really just sanding down to get to the actual finish. So because these edges are so sharp, I think I'm going to use my rotor to break them now while it is dry. Let me adjust this a little bit.
to do now, I'm going to use, let's see if I can, in case I need a shot butt, you know, I definitely need a shot butt to add to my collection. What do you think about that, guys? Let me know in the chat. And now I'm going to use a 120 grit. I think I'm going to use the same technique like before, to ensure that I know exactly where I had already sanded before. Let me ensure that I do what I was told. So, make sure that I line up these areas. A bit of dust correction to see if the sandpaper. Yeah, I think that's it.
stuff then that I would like to ask you. Let me check to see what's going on in the chat. The question that I would like to ask is for all of those who do woodworking, what is your favorite board or favorite species of board that you use to make cutting boards, and which one do you believe is more sturdy and more durable to be used? Currently I've made a couple white oak end grain cutting boards. I definitely like end grain cutting boards more than face grain or edge grain boards, but you can let me know. You can put it in the chat. Which species of board is your favorite species that you use to make cutting boards? I've used walnut, I've used maple, I have used I've even used pallets. Have you guys ever check out pallet cutting board? I know that you can find like poplar or red oak, white oak sometimes that are used to make pallets, but they are really hard to find. It's mostly pine. But I've used that to make cutting boards and definitely like the way it turned out. So you can let me know in the comment section which board is your favorite species. This is actually feeling smooth already. It was 120 good. And I think I'm going to do the same thing again and do the 230. That means putting a lot of water on this down.
That's just the way to go. Cut the grain, then I'm going to have to use my 220 grit.
I'm going to go to 220 grit sandpaper. Just checking to see if you guys would have placed in the chat what is your favorite species or favorite type of board that you use to make cutting boards. Hello? Yeah, just checking to see. But I'm going to get now. I'm going to actually get something else that I think I didn't bring out with me. Get my bonding iron. Great for me. So I'm going to actually have two more. We have sanded to do. After this, I'm going to use my 220 grit. Yeah. 220 grit sandpaper. And I'm making sure that I'm following and I'm using the advice that I received from Robert. And he says that when you line up the sandpaper with the holes that are on the sander, it offers you a better dust collection, and the sandpaper tends to last a little bit longer. So I'm making sure to line up the holes. Yeah. So there you go. So this is actually the 220 grid now.
Sunday is like going to the gym on a hard workout. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put my branding on this thing here.
Then pass over it with 120, no, with by 320 grit sandpaper, and then apply the finish. Oh, I forgot to tell you guys that, since that every ender here people normally make plans, or they call it New Year's resolution, and they set goals. And I decided that this year I wanted to set a goal for the community that I'm trying to build. You guys are all members of this community, especially those who subscribe. And even if you don't subscribe, you're still considered to be a member of the community. So I set a community goal of trying to reach at least 1,000 subscribers for this year. Currently now I think I'm at somewhere close, like 800 and something thereabout. And I'm edging close to hitting that 1,000 goal subscriber within the next 30 to 40 something days, or 60 days that remain in the year. And you guys can help me, and one way you guys can help me is by smashing that subscribe button and also hitting the like button, so you can help this community to grow. I believe that we are all here to help each other grow, and I have been enjoying the information that I receive, especially in the comment section in the chat. I try my best to read all of them and take all the advice that I can get possible, because the truth about it is that each and every one of us still has something that we can learn from somebody else, and I am open to learn. So that is why I look forward to hearing from you guys in the comment section, and especially when I go live, or even when you comment on posts that I have made, whether it's a long format video or a short. I always tend to look forward to seeing what you guys are saying, because it really means a lot to me, especially on my woodworking journey. And that is one of the things that I've learned, that the more you practice something, the more you become better at it. But what I'm also learning now is that the more you get constructive criticism, good advice, it also helps to improve the craft. That just like today I learned something new. I've been using my orbital sander for quite a while. I may have used up a lot of sandpaper because I wasn't using it correctly. Today I learned how to use it the correct way, and for that I'm truly grateful. So I just want to give another shout out to Robert for that kind words that he would have imparted onto me in terms of sharing some of his knowledge about using sanders, and that really means a lot to me. So 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 that's what I want to give thanks for. And you guys can also, help to support me with your kind words of encouragement. And if you have advice, I am open to advice, as you can see. I don't act as if I know it all. I still believe that there's a lot for me to learn, especially in this craft. I have seen work that I would like to try, but I believe that it will stretch my skill set. So I'm just giving it a little bit of time before I try to approach doing some of those more technical stuff. But I've done things that are semi-technical, but I think I'm getting there one step at a time. I remember the first time I tried doing a dovetail joint, and I have to tell you that when I look at the result of what came out, I was like, not everything is as easy as they seems, but with practice, they say practice makes become perfect. So I have not given up on that yet. So I'm waiting until I get one of those good flush trim saw, and a better chisel. So I'm looking to see where I can find a better chisel that I can get, that is I can get it to sharpen as best as possible. So I'm looking out for some tools. That is why I'm on Facebook Marketplace. I'm looking to see wherever I can get stuff that will help to improve my craft as I go along my woodworking journey. So so that's why I'm saying to you guys, you are welcome to be a part of this community. And one way you can do so is to hit that subscribe button. It means a lot to me to help me reach one step closer to my yearly goal. Next year I'll set a new goal, and I believe that by God's grace I will be able to make it with the support of the community that we are building together, or I am building with you guys. So it is truly, I'm truly grateful for your support. Um, and another thing that I want to share with you guys is that I'm actually from the island of Jamaica, and I have been watching the forecast lately, seeing that my country is under a threat of a Category 5 hurricane now, and a lot of people on the island is worried about what will happen, about the loss that they will suffer. So I'm just asking you guys to keep Jamaica in your prayer as we face one of the most devastating hurricanes in the country's history. We pray that we're asking for your prayer too, so that God will stay his hand of mercy to minimize the damage if the hurricane do it, and if it hits, to save as much life as possible. I am not sure that properties would be damaged, but I am asking that the outcome, if life should be lost, that the number would be small. So I'm just sharing that information with you guys, so that if you believe in faith, you can partake in just adding Jamaica to your prayer list. That's pretty much it, because I have a lot of friends, families. As a matter of fact, majority of my families are still living in Jamaica. So I'm just asking for your prayer that God and will stay or protect his people on that island, or every single individual that is living on that island as I speak. So that's what I want to share with you guys. And thanks for those who would have placed it in your prayer requests. And so that's pretty much what I want to ask. And another thing that as I've been saying, is that as we build this community, we can find ways and means how to, help each other improve ourselves, whether physically, spiritually, or mentally. Because I have a segment that I post shorts that I call Wood Therapy, because I know that mental health now, or mental health crisis, is a great thing. So I try to find ways or means to encourage people that if you try to keep your mind from focusing too much on what is taking place around you that will stress you out, especially like for me who is living in America where people are so worried now about the government shutdown, where the whole food shortages and all these things that are taking place. You have to find something to keep your mind occupied, so that you won't feel stressed out or depressed. Because when you are depressed or stressed out, it affects those who are around you, your friends, your family, so you have to focus, try find ways and means how to deal with stress of or the stresses of this life. So for me, I do woodworking. For others, you can read a book, even take a bicycle ride. Just find some activity to do that will keep your mind away from what is taking place around you. So that is one advice that I would like to give, because I believe that we all need something to keep our minds occupied. So I'm going to eat this up for at least 1 more minute, because time is going and I have something else to do. But I'm truly glad that you guys stick out with me, or you choose to join this live today. So what I'm going to do now is that I saw this trick online, and it is said that whenever you're doing branding, to just use some water to prevent the burn from going too further away to spread on the material more than what you intend. I think this should be good enough. Let me try it. Hopefully it is heated enough. So I'm putting the water there. Then I'm going to put my branding right here. Oh yes. Yeah. That looks like it is I got a good burn. Yes. So let me turn off this. Definitely like that. This may turn out to be one of the best branding that I got in a while. Let me check it out. Yeah. Definitely like the way all this turn out. Yeah. So now I'm going to, pass over and deal with my 320 grit sandpaper. So this is it. So you make sure that you line up the holes. Line up the holes on the sandpaper. Put the sander for helps it make a better dust collection and save the sandpaper.
this board is feeling. So what I'm going to do now is going to lightly damp this and wipe it off. Yeah, dry it off. Wipe it off, get off the much of the dust as possible. Get off as much as the dust and the sanding. Yeah, this is feeling smooth and nice. So I sand this up to 320 grit. Let me get this out the way. So the next thing I'm going to do now is apply my finish, which I've been using since lately. I don't know if you guys have any other recommendation that you use for your cutting board in terms of what you use to finish up your cutting board. But for me, I use this. I use the Howard Butcher Block Conditioner. This is actually, this is food grade. So it has mineral oil and natural waxes. So this is what I use. So you guys can let me know what you use for your cutting board. So I like this. Into any grade, and then I'm going to apply some more to it later in the night. It's 2 hours from now or 3 hours from now. Apply a next segment of this good conditioner to make sure that it soaks in the board properly. I've seen where you have the soaking method. I've never tried that one, where you actually put the board in a container and pour the mineral oil on it, allow it to soak, and then you put it to drain, and then you apply the wax on it. So I think might be in the future when I start to make a lot more cutting boards, I might use that method. But I'm going to show you guys how this board turn out. Look at it. Let's take a look at it. You can see it. Don't know if you guys see it, but this is how it turned out to look. You know, definitely like it.
We'll be dropping it off tomorrow. So this is how it looks. So that's pretty much the process of, that I had to go through to refinish this cutting board. I'm sorry I didn't take any pictures to show you what had happened to this board, but I've managed to work through to get it fixed. So guys, just want to say thanks to you again for joining this live, and I want to say thanks to those who choose to be a part of this community. And as we continue to grow from strength to strength, from one subscriber to another subscriber until we hit that big number, and as they would say, the sky is the limit, but in order to reach the sky you have to start somewhere. So I'm striving for the sky, and you guys will help me to elevate more and more. So I just want to say thanks and peace, and see you guys again next time from What's in Your Hand Woodworking. I'm out. So until then, bye.